Hi, this is IK. Welcome to playlist Teach How to Teach React. And here is a topic for this video. Principle of how React.js works. Principle of how React.js works. First, enter the HTTP address in the browser and press enter. 2. The browser retrieves index.html over HTTP and loads it into the browser's document object model. 3. This state remains unchanged, creating single page app. Once index.html is loaded, it invokes index.js. 5. In index.js, the root render function is called with components that depend on roots. 6. Components are initially rendered with their initial state. Afterward, when the component mounted event occurs, data, this is component mounted event occurs, data is fetched and the set state triggers new rendering of including components. 8. The web page displaying the actual document object model becomes visible on the screen. 9. The virtual document object model scans states and immediately registers state mutations. It then compares these mutations with the actual document object model. If the state differs, components are re-rendered and the actual document object model changes accordingly. This setup results in the React app creating 3 document object model representation, 3 document object model representations. 2 are visible in the browser's DevTools, and the virtual document object model continuously listens for events. It is analogous to the actual document object model and continuously compares itself with the actual document object model. When differences are detected, the changes are applied to the actual document object model. I have copied my principle of work to artificial intelligence chat GPT. Here is my text, and artificial respond me. You provided a clear and concise summary of how React app typically works. Let me break down your points to further clarify the process and repeat what I said with his word. Here it is. Look at UI rendering. the app's UI is displayed on the screen, showing the initial content. I suggest I repair it. User interface rendering. The app's UI is displayed on the screen showing the initial content. I copy what I want to comment. Equal, and my comment is, take care. The app's UI displayed on the screen is not initial state, but fetched or get state from database or other data server. You're absolutely right, and I apologize for any confusion, etc., etc. In the end, I ask, made grammatically correct this my text? And again, here is your text with grammar correct, and this is what I copy in my post, and I read that. Here is a React application what I use like post. Look at in code all what I said in principle of work. Let's go to in public folder. We have index.html. It is index.html. Look at all that is what I have in index.html. And here is a very important, our JavaScript application attached to this HTML element named id equal root. It is in the index.html. It is first page what go to our browser after enter address. And when finished loading, call index.js. This is index.js, concretely of this my application. In the future, I can talk about that, but I call about that in my playlist React for Total Beginners. And this playlist would be some like summary, some like concise summary. And if you want to see detail, you can go to a playlist React for Total Beginners. And it is index.js. And in that index.js, you see root render and call what? This is in this concept important for us. It is our topic component. I all time spoke about component, but I didn't said at first, and the most important for React is component. React, when we coding component, we don't coding web pages. Component made web pages. Component create, but it will be a lot of spoke about component because component is a bit of the React. We create component. React is library of component. we import dependency other from any other sources component, and all around us is component, and thinking here like HTML element, it is a philosophy is very, very near. Philosophy and concept is a React component. You see here, provider is component, React component, app React component, closed provider React component. Okay, about that in the future. But index.js start call, because when you call index.js and starting execute of script in index.js, and that execution means also start render function, root render function, and parameter of root render function is this what we see here, but in this story is app important. And calling app, we can go to now app component. We see that in that component we have this component, add post and post list component. We have and the footer component, and this is header component. And that component, it means that calling app component, start execution or rendering, start rendering app, but rendering of app means rendering child component, all that child component. And after rendering all that child component, we see on the screen this. We see on the screen this. All that post, what you see, coming from a mock server. And we see that what we see now, it is web page created of the component, but it is in final one web page what we see, and also one document object model. It is actual document object model. Where to see it? Here, F12. F12, and here it is. Here it is. When we expand it, we will see, you see div id root, and I can go to smaller frame. Here it is, body div id root. When we can see any document, style, CSS, etc., HTML, and it is look at it, is doc type HTML, body. We have head. If expand head, we see all what we have in head, and it is what I look at now. It is actual document object model, and we see it. It is nothing changes with this. If we don't interact, if we interact here and press save post, it means that post changes. We have one post more. It is changes, and save post. After that, we have that new post visible here in actual, like it is visible here also, like it is visible here. And it is visible also here in actual all this style class is because of using material UI, and find through that anything is big job. Material UI coming with a lot of style. And okay, now we see right is actual, and the left it is actual document object model. And when I go back, I can remove it and get view page source. What I see here only index.html all the time, unchangeable. And because of that, we call this kind of application single page application, because in view source, we always see single page, index.html. Look at here is that div root. Here it is. And in actual document, look at here it is a root. In actual, here it is div. In actual, all web page, you see this marking of all web page lay in that div ID root, but we don't see. We can expand it and find all what we see left, and but we cannot see it in view source. We cannot see it in view source. It is how JavaScript work from beginning. There 1995. From beginning, JavaScript must have a HTML page. That HTML page must be complete loading, and after, it means document object model is complete loading in memory, and after that page calling JavaScript file, and that JavaScript file manipulate with that document object model, but cannot go in that document object model. It is not visible. JavaScript manipulate virtually with, and it is from beginning. It is as JavaScript working. It is nothing new here in React. Okay, what I said more, we are now create 3 document object model, single page application document, actual, and actual document object model single page, index.html document object model, but we cannot see virtual document object model. It is working, scanning, waiting for event, waiting for change state. Look at now. I click, nothing happened. But when I save post, virtual will see that I add a new post, and virtual will always compare yourself with itself with the actual, and it would be changes, one post more in array post. Save, and same moment we see that B, it means we see new actual document object model with, we see that new post here. And virtual, looking again, always looking for event and for changes state. It is virtual document object model. Okay, it is all what now of course delete one post less, and immediately virtual document object model compare and see one post less. Again delete, again one post less. Okay, if you know somebody that need video and with story like this, tell them by your channel, tell them by other channel of yours, subscribe, like if you need it, and thank you for watching this video.